Hello, 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 friends. Good afternoon to everyone to this Youth Excellence Symposium. And we have already started this symposium during this year. And today we have a power pack automation session. As today's era, automation is the key to survive, I can say. Without technology, we can't survive because at world level, at national level, the technology is playing very, very important role, whether it is in any areas. In practice, technology plays important role. As regards to now, departments also, they have started tracking everything automatically. As regards to nation, everything is simply automated. So unless we imbibe technology in our office, it will become difficult time for us to survive. And that is how, keeping that in mind, we thought let us have this session on automation and technology. And we have today two very uh, dignified speakers, very young, and who have imbibed technology in themselves. So first, CA Karan Shah, he'll be taking us through the Excel. So simply, it is not any logic, it is not any additional thing, but simply knowing the Excel utilities and the formulas, how we can best use this technology in our office also, in our routine also, and also for any work relating to any areas, tax or audit or anything. And that is what he is going to show, demonstrate us what, how best we can utilize the Excel. As regards to Hardik, I can say that he is developing various modules and various programs, like for example, income tax faceless assessment. So how the notice are coming, the tracking of all these things, everything, and how to actually utilize for the best, so that there is no further penalties or liabilities. So he has developed that software, and I can always share, and I have seen and experienced that only technology is not the everything. Technology coupled with our technical knowledge on the subject, domain, expertise can do the best of the things. So, all chartered accountants having the domain expertise, if they imbibe technology, they can do wonders. And that is what we have to see and ensure that we use the technology in our best of the resource, as a best of the resource. So with this background, we want to hear our both the young dynamic speakers, and I am sure this session will be very, very eye-opener and very useful to each one of you. So once again, I welcome both the speakers. I welcome CA Umang Soni, CA Nidhi Shah, CA Harsh Visharia, and CA Cheda, who have done all the efforts for organizing this program. I welcome all my dear participants to become a very, very dignified participants. And also, we have received the request from the participants that we also want to participate and take the role as a speaker or the moderator. So once again, I invite all of you to take this opportunity, this platform of Women and Young Members Excellence Committee every Friday sessions to excel yourself. And my office, who is always there around to help all of us. So thanks to my office team also. With these words, I welcome all of you to this session of Youth Excellence Symposium. And I'm sure you will learn a lot with this. Thank you, and over to the coordinator.
Good evening, all fellow members and the speaker for the day. Thank you, Preeti ma'am, for your kind words. Let me introduce to CA Karan Shah. His professional journey started as an intern in 2013 and he cleared his exams in 2017, after which he joined Sharpless Private Limited, his family business, which revolves around manufacturing of home textiles. Being in manufacturing business, he understands the need and the excellence and accuracy across multiple areas, including accounts, audits, and other business management tools. Automation has been instrumental in transforming these areas and delivering remarkable results. He has leveraged Excel automation to streamline accounting process and reduce manual data entry and the chances of error. He has developed customized data analysis tools that provides valuable insights into operational efficiency, risk assessment, and compliance monitoring. Furtherance, Excel automation has played a crucial role in managing various aspects of his business operations like inventory management, sales forecasting, and reporting. He has developed automated systems that provide real-time insight and enable information decision making. By harnessing the power of Excel, he has been able to optimize his business process, improve productivity, and drive growth. By not taking much time, I would like CA Karan Shah to take over and enlighten on the topic. Over to you, Karan Shah.
Thank you very much, all the organizers and the coordinators, for organizing this event. Thank you, Harsh, for this wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
So let me start this seminar by asking the public uh, what they use by automation in their firms. What do they think that is automated in their firms? Uh, they can reply by message, if not Mike.
So it's in webinar mode, so I don't think they'll be able to reply to you.
So will they be able to message me?
Probably the admin might be able to see it on the
Chat can be should be seen to the speaker. Technical team, the chat should be seen to the speaker, please. So by that time you can start other things.
Let
By
me
the
just
time
start
it is
an
enabled.
primary introduction.
Yeah.
So automation in accounting can help us streamline various repetitive tasks. It should happen in any firms that you have been given a very repetitive and boring task and you don't want to do it. You rather want to focus on something more meaningful. But because you don't have any option, you have to do that again and again. So what this automation can do is it has helped us in reducing all those manual and boring tasks so that we can focus on more analysis and decision making. So the various types of automation, emerging types of automation would be robotic process automation. Now, how many are you? You must be using some sort of text tool which gets you 26 years downloaded automatically for all the clients, or which files your GST return upon just a click. So those are all parts of RPA. I have a wonderful video to show how to download 26 years or the AIS for all your clients at once. Coming to artificial intelligence, I'm sure all of you must have heard of ChatGPT, and there are various seminars also happening showing us how we can use ChatGPT or some various AI tools in our day-to-day life. Now, there are many others like machine learning and chatbots, but these two are primarily important for us at the moment. Skipping directly to the main part of this seminar, Excel automation. Excel features or tools or powers can be divided into 5 major parts. I'm sure all of you must have used VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, SUMIF, or simple formulas. Those all comes under functions. There are many various features for Excel. You must have heard of conditional formatting, pivot table, and all those other formatting tools. Those all come under features. Power Query is something very new and something that is very unknown in this field. But I'm going to focus on this today. I'm sure all of you must have heard of macros and VBAs. These are scripts and coding which you can use to automate anything inside Excel. Coming to Excel functions, I have prepared a simple file to demonstrate Excel functions. Now, beware that the formulas that I have used in this particular demo are from Office 365, which is the latest version of Excel. These formulas might not be available in your Excel if you are using any earlier versions of Excel. So I'm sure this is a common scenario across all the practicing firms that a client comes up to you and asks which regime is better for you. So you can always go to a website and type in your salary, but let's say you want to do it in Excel. How can you do it? One older technique is using multiple ifs. Now imagine this new regime and using ifs in it. I'm sure you must have used if, and you will have to use at least 6 if to use this formula. A very simple alternative would be to use XLOOKUP formula. So what XLOOKUP does, XLOOKUP is basically a very enhanced version of VLOOKUP. What XLOOKUP can do is not only can it look for exact matches, but also similar matches. In this case, it can look for the same amount of your gross total income or a lower than that or higher value from that as you design it to. It can look in ascending order or descending order. So I have developed this formula whereby the Excel first looks for your gross total income, which is 15 lakhs in this case. So he will look in this entire column where 15 lakhs is. So there is no 15 lakhs. So he'll go for the lower value, which will come in this, and he'll go and get this value. So first part of my formula takes the amount of tax in the previous slab, which I already calculated in this column. So he will get 90,000 as answer in this. The second part, he'll subtract 15 lakhs from the next slab, and on the remaining value, he'll apply this particular rate and also apply education cess. And the amazing part about this is entirely dynamic. So as I change this formula, the answer will automatically change. Okay. The goal or objective of this formula why I'm showing this formula is not that you should use it for this particular purpose, but to open avenues for you or to possibilities of what this formula can do for you. Moving on to some other examples. So Excel functions, there are lots and lots of Excel functions. I guess it is above 400 or 500 at this moment. The various types of formulas could be mathematical functions such as sum if, date and time, EO month, today, logical functions such as if, and, or, XLOOKUP, lambda, filter, XMatch, and text. I've prepared a small demo of some few examples. So EO month, I've been using a formula called EO month for finding due dates. So what EO month does is it goes to the value that you look, goes to the end of month of that and adds as much as you want. So for calculating due dates of TDS, what I have designed is I have uh, used EO month and if together. So he first looks if the month is March or not. If the month is March, the due date would be end of month from this cell at 30 days, which is 30th April. Else it will be end of month from this date and add 7 days. So the payment due date would be 7th of the next month. Some more examples of text functions could be, let's say you want to extract the value between the brackets. So there is a very simple formula called text before and text after. So I have used this formula to get the text after this bracket and before this bracket. It's a very simple formula, but I'm sure many of us have not used it yet. Another formula would be, let's say I want to join this using comma. So there's a formula called text join. You give it the delimiter which used to join and the range. Moving on, Excel features. So these are some of the Excel features which some of us might not be using at the moment, but we should be using it. Okay, so I have seen many firms not using tables much. So tables is a very wonderful thing. You can make anything into a table. Anything that has headers and records of data can be turned into a table. Now, one of the useful advantage of using table is when you use a formula, you won't have to put dollar signs and define a range. So in this example, let me just show you that if I want to add a partner D in this example, the table will be automatically added to that part, and also my formula change because I didn't put a reference of A11 to A13. I had put a reference as this particular table name and the names column in it. Now let's say I want to change my formula very simply. So instead of using the name column, if I were to use the designation column, it will be very easy to change the formula if it is designed as a table. Let me just change the name of my table because it is the same as formula. So in this case, if I were to change the column name again, in case this was not a table, it would have been very difficult for me to change it. Let me just show you an example. So if I were to delete this column and add again, this will not change. But because it was stable, it was able to optimize the code automatically and add the other lines. Moving on, I want to show you a special example of a feature called version history. Now, many of us would have been come in a position where all the things I had done were not saved and the power goes out or some connection was lost and the entire work has gone in vain. So let me just give you a small demo. I will delete all this. I will save my file. I will close it. As you can see, all the data has been lost. But because I am using it in conjunction of OneDrive and version history, I can always go and fetch an earlier version, and this will restore the data. So using 365 in conjunction with OneDrive helps us very. Moving on to Power Query. So I want to know how many of us have already used Power Query. If I can see messages, it would be great. Can the coordinator arrange that? So I guess this is not available, so I'll just carry on. So what Power Query can do for us is there have been many instances where we have been given a file, but it is not in proper table form. A table form as in it has headers. It's the file starts from headers as records of data. Many times it is unclear, or we have received 12 files for 12 different months and we want to combine and use that data. Or there have been many other instances. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a bank statement. I'm sure all of us has seen this bank statement. It is a simple bank statement from HDFC. So if I were to use this data, I would have to remove all these rows first, all the bottom rows, convert these to data types, and do all the necessary things before I get to use this data. And what my client did was he sent me month-wise details. So I had to combine the data and then use it. So with Power Query, it can be very easy to do this. So just see how many steps it takes me to do this. I'll go to data. I'll say get data from a folder. By doing this, it will take all the files from the folder for processing. As you can see, it has shown me all the files. Now, mind there is a one PDF file. I'll have to get rid of it if I want to process it first. So I can just go and filter out the PDF file. Now this data, now all the necessary Excel files have been loaded. I will just need to transform them. So I click on this button and he will ask me to transform one file for me, to show me how I want one particular file, and then he'll do that for all the files. As you can see, it has loaded all the data. It is just as it was in Excel. We have useless rows initially and useless rows after this. So it is very simple to clean this data using Power Query. All we have to do is first, let's say we want to remove first 20 rows because these are of no use to us. So we'll just go to remove rows, remove top rows and 20. Now this particular line can be useful for us for naming our headers. So we'll just ask it to use the first row as headers. Again, the next line needs to be removed. So we'll remove it. Just like that, we also need to remove all the bottom lines, but I have a special trick for that. Let's say this is a date column. So we can define what this particular column should be, what the data in that particular column should be. So all the data in this particular column should only be in date format. So I assign it the date data format, and you will see there's a red line over here, meaning there are many errors over here. I can simply ask it to remove all the error lines, and this will remove all the error lines. Also, there are many blank lines which have been designated null. So we will just need to remove the null lines, and now our data is in table format. We can even go ahead and remove all the unnecessary columns if we need to. And we need to assign some data types to other columns. And our data is ready now. So this was done in one particular file. But now you will see it has been done in every file. You will see that this is December. The data has been arranged. Same goes for all the files. I can sort it by date, and I can choose to load it in an Excel sheet. If you see this data, 6 Excel files which were not in proper format were formatted, cleaned, trimmed, joined, and presented to us. One more wonderful part about Power Query is that it stores the steps. It has stored all these necessary steps. So every time I will insert additional bank statement file into it, let's say I were to copy this and rename it as April. I will only need to go and hit refresh over here, and it will add April file in it as well. Let me just sort it. Now, because all the lines were actually October file, but you can see that April file was also added because I copied paste the October file. All the data is from October. The same goes if I were to delete some files. Let's say I delete October and April and hit refresh. All this data will be gone. I will be left with 5 other files. So this is not limited to bank statement. Imagine client data coming in hordes of files, be it sales data, purchase data, GST data, or assume the client has 15 branches and he has sent sales data for all the 15 branch for GST or one filing. You can just use this to trim the data, clean the data, merge the data, and use it for filing. You can even change the columns in such a way that it is directly ready for GSTR1 filing. Moving on, I have some uh, extra examples and a major case study relating to tax, TDS tax filing, but I am going to show it after this basic introduction. Now, this is a different tool that I want to just showcase in the middle of this so that we can then move on to Power Query. This is Power Automate Desktop. This is a RPA tool. It is from Microsoft. It is currently free for anyone, and it helps. It is understand this as macro, Excel macro, but not limited to Excel, but for the entire computer, your entire browser. So you can set a rules to uh, make anything. Either you want to download bank statements for all your clients, 26 years for all your clients, AIS for all your clients, or you want to file statements for all your files at once. So you can design it in this particular Power Automate desktop, and you can make it. I have a video showcase how I designed it to download 26 years for all my clients. So I only have two at this moment for the video, but you can see that it will do all this automatically. It has first downloaded an Excel, copied data and stored in its memory. Now using the username and password in that Excel sheet, it has gone to income tax statement. It has logged in. It has gone to 26 years. It will now go to the specific assessment here that I have asked him to download the file, save it exactly by the name I want to and the destination I wanted to, close this, log out from the client, and repeat this for all my next clients. It can be 200, 400, 600, as many as you wanted to. You will just have to run this program and sit idle or go for a coffee break, and it will do your work for you. I have been currently using this to download all my clients' bank statements, converting them to Excel sheets using Power Query, using another tool to convert all those Excel entries into Tally entries. And this will all be done in, I guess, 15 to 55 minutes. This is, and the best part about Power Automate Desktop is it is a no code, low code application, meaning just like you saw me doing Power Query using a simple transition, simple like using Excel features. So you won't need to learn coding for using Power Automate Desktop. Coming to macros and VBAs, I'm sure everybody must have used VBA for some application, either designed by them or somebody else. Some basic function of VBA can be automating repetitive tasks. Let's say you want to print a letter for 50, 60, 70 of your clients, which is a simple format. You just need to change one particular or two particular things about it. You can make a table and automate VBA, and it will print all that for you. Let's say you have designed an invoice application whereby you need to email invoice and you want to make it. So you can do that using macro VBAs. Let me just show you a demo for macros. So I have designed a letter. It is a simple letter. It is a request letter to convert the physical commodities into dematerialization state. You can see the format also. Now my client has given me data in this format. These are all the names of my clients, their address, customer ID, and all the necessary things I will need to use in the letter. And these are the details of the commodities, sales or whatever he wants to convert. So using basic formulas, I first made this format whereby I can change one particular thing and then the entire letter will change. The amazing part about this is if a particular client has only one certificate, it can fetch that. If let's say a particular client has multiple, it will give me in multiple lines. And this is a very simple formula called filter function, because if you use VLOOKUP, it will only return one particular row of values. But if you use this filter function, it can give me multiple rows. So this particular client has 4 commodity, so it has given me 4 data from this. If you see this, it has 4, it has written all this over here. So what I'm going to VBA code I have made it is very simple. It will make PDF for all the clients that I want to. So there are a number of 10 clients, I guess. I want to generate PDF for 10 clients. I will say from 1 to 10, and I'll say save PDF. Now you might see this folder and see it is empty. There are no PDF files at the moment. Ten PDFs were made and opened. You can even design it to directly print and not make PDF. Just imagine the use case of it. During my articleship, me and my boss, we had made an audit format whereby all the letters of audit, be it engagement letter or management letter, any letters, all were designed in such a way that in a hit of a button, it were printed for all of our clients in the format that we need to. The use cases are unlimited for this. You can also use it to print simple things like TDS declaration. Now, let's say I want to make a TDS declaration. I will put the name of the transporter here. And it is ready to be printed. Only the data that needs to be changed needs to be put here, and everything in this letter will change accordingly. It's a very simple way to automate daily routine tasks, which you might not be doing now that you have become a CA, but your articles may be doing it, your other staff, your assistants may be doing it, but this will save a lot of time for them so that they can move on to some meaningful task. Moving on, so I have designed a TDS return technique that fetches data from Tally and makes TDS return. So I'm only going to show you a demo. The objective of this will not be to give you a TDS file written, but to show you what all these things combined can do for you. I have used formulas in this particular automation tool. I have used Power Query. I have used everything that I have shown you today. This is a very simple deductee page whereby you can put the details of all the deductees here, and this will automatically be fetched from Tally. But let me just show you what goes where. So there are basic column, date, particulars, voucher reference number, PAN, amount paid, section code. Once you put all this field will be calculated automatically. It will fetch TDS rate from this table. It will calculate TDS amount automatically. It will even figure out the due date when you paid this, if interest is applicable, and total amount. This is a challan sheet whereby you put the details of all the challans that you have paid. Again, you only need to put this particular column. All this will be calculated automatically. This is TDS utilized, meaning how much of this challan has been used by the deductees in this page. Interest adjusted, total amount that has been adjusted, and the unused amount in the challan. So let me show you a purchase register file that I have exported from Tally. You can see this is a typical columnar purchase report exported from Tally. Now, bear in mind, this particular thing has only exported purchase vouchers. So you may need to convince your clients or change their data accordingly so that they have put all those entries that are applicable to TDS in the purchase voucher tag and not in journal, because journal cannot be exported in columnar format from Tally. You may see this data. There is date, particulars, all the ledgers in columnar form. PAN is available for some of the clients. PAN is not available for some of my clients. TDS may be applicable, may not be applicable to them. But this is just export. I have not changed any data here. Now, what I will do is I will get data from that Excel sheet into Power Query, and I will trim that data. Because data in this format is not usable. I will need to get rid of all these unnecessary columns. I will need to figure out who amongst this is applicable to TDS, what voucher types are applicable, what ledgers are applicable to TDS, the amount, and I will have to convert them all in such a format that I can directly paste them into this. So I have loaded Power Query. This is how it looks. All this unnecessary lines in the beginning, our data, necessary data, and a total column at the end. So two more things that I have exported is that using Tally ODBC, I have directly connected Tally and gotten the names of those deductee in whose master I have marked TDS as applicable. So these are all the names of the party, and these are all the names of expenses for whom TDS I have marked applicable in my Tally. So I only need to connect it to Tally ODBC, hit refresh once, and this will all be synced. Coming to this, so I have started cleaning. I will remove top rows. I will mark this line as my ledger. I will filter out all the rows that do not have the necessary data. So the last total column row was removed. I removed all the unnecessary columns. So one necessary thing you need to see this, all the ledgers are in columns. I don't need them in columns. I will need them in one particular column. Let's say this particular record. So I will need a column whereby it says this is the particular ledger. So CGST needs to come here in the column and not in the column header. So I will simply unpivot this data. Unpivot is a very simple thing. It is reverse of pivot. When we pivot and put this in column, assume we put this particular column into the columnar head of pivot table. This is opposite of that. So now I have a list whereby I know which ledgers are coming under the purview of TDS. So I will filter out and keep only those rows whereby the TDS is applicable. Similarly, I will also filter out the ledgers on which TDS is applicable, and there I will have my list ready. So when I hit refresh over here, since I had already loaded that data, you will see that only the necessary TDS applicable columns according to the format, and all the necessary lines have come here. The date, particulars, voucher number, PAN, value, section. It figured out section from this particular table. I had already loaded uh, what section was applicable to what indirect expense. So it figured out all that. It put that in a particular table. Now I will only need to hit Control A, copy, and paste it here. The due date is automatically calculated. We have not put in the challan date yet, so it has not figured out that. So now let's say I have paid all this as per the section code. So I will go to this. I've already given a challan number. I will paste challan number for all this. And you will see here that it needs to pay. Just a second. Yeah. As you can see, if I put challan number up for all the 194C deductees, it figured out the paid on date. Now I will have to put in, let's say I change it by 8/4. Just a second, I think there's an error on this. Yeah, if you see this data, when I put in a due date, these were all paid on 7th of May, so well before the due date. But if I were to change the payment date to 8/5, you will see that it has calculated interest months, interest, and the total interest amount applicable to that challan. Now I will need to pay this much separately. But let's say if I have not paid this yet, I will just need to pay this total amount. Similarly, when all of our data is ready, we have put in all the challans and we have mapped all the challan to the deductees. What we'll need to do is we will need to modify this data in such a way that we can upload it to a particular TDS software. So I've been using Express TDS by KDK, and the format for that, I will need to combine this data from challan, and I will need to make a particular file so that it is ready to upload to KDK software. Now, when I hit refresh, it will fetch all this data from deductee and challan, like I have put it here. And if I have put all the necessary details, it will show in columns necessary. Now I will only need to copy this data and put this in the format that the TDS software requires, upload that data, and my return will be filed. So when you're doing this regularly, this only takes about 4 to 5 minutes to file your TDS return, right from fetching data from Tally, putting it in this Excel format, and uploading in your TDS software. Now, another tool for demo that I have made is recently a friend called up to me and said that he has received a departmental GST audit and he has missed it sometime, and the officer was show up the next date and he wanted some data. So one of the data that he wanted was a payment date in front of the invoices, GST invoices. And Tally does not have a simple feature where it can generate a report where you can get payment dates of that particular purchase bill. So he gave me this two files from his Tally. One was his purchase, his payment details. So this is a simple payment voucher type exported from Tally. using bill details. So this is a payment register. You will see that it has the number of parties, against reference details, name of the voucher number, and amount. Now I will need to map this to the GSTR 2A that he has developed or exported from Tally. This is the GSTR 2A from Tally. It has all the necessary columns. Now I will need to somehow match this payment to the bill here. And I cannot use a simple VLOOKUP because this does not have the name of the party here against this reference. And another thing is that this voucher references, this can be repeated. Let's say two of my parties can have voucher number 1. So I cannot simply use VLOOKUP on this particular voucher reference and use it. Another problem that can arise is that there can be part payments where a particular bill has been paid in 5 different installments. So a simple VLOOKUP will not suffice. We'll either need to go to the ledger, put in one single date, that which will be a very manual dredge work, or you can use Power Query for this. So I have already made a Power Query file for this. I'll just show you the necessary steps. So this was the purchase register. I needed to remove this few lines from top, promote the header column names, remove other lines, and it was ready. There was not much to do in the purchase register, but in the payment register, this data was in this particular format. As you can see, there are many unnecessary columns, and also this particular column, we need the name of this party over here. So what I did was, first of all, I cleaned all the unnecessary rows at the top, mark headers. And now if you see the date column, we will also need the date column to use the VLOOKUP or whatever formula we use. So I can simply go and fill this data down. Let's say you go here and you put Control D, Control D, Control D, or there's a simple feature fill down. What it will do is it will fill down this particular column to all the null values down. And I made another simple trick whereby whenever it was null, it can get the name of the above column over here. So after doing all this and after filling down all this, I have my data ready in this particular table format, whereby I have a date column, I have a name, voucher number, and amount. I filter the unnecessary rows and my data is now ready. One more thing I will need to do is I will need to combine all the unnecessary, all the part payments into one single payment and use the latest payment date for it. So I grouped the data. It is very simple. You group your data by name and voucher number, and use the latest date of all the payments, and you sum all the amount columns, all the payments. So now my data is ready. I will only need to use VLOOKUP now, or there is a feature in Power Query where you can use merge the data. It is short. It is like a VLOOKUP that we use in Excel. So what it did was it merged the data. So it took purchase register as a base table. It used merge data and got all the matching rows from the payment register. Now you will see there are many columns that have not matched simply because the payment is still pending for it. I will show you. This is the purchase register. This is the payment date from the payment register. And all these vouchers have not yet been paid. So they are blank. Now, this was a very beautiful client. It has managed his data using references, but there are many clients who have not used against reference, who only use on account. So there is also a very simple solution for that. For this demo, I have made a column of invoices. As you can see, it has date, party, voucher number, amount. For payments, this particular invoice can be exported from purchase register. This is the payment register exported. You can see this is very simple date, party, amount. You don't even need to export it using bill-wise details. So what I did was I made a cumulative list, but cumulative list such as cumulative only for that particular party. So let's see company A here. The first payment was of 16,000. The next invoice was 14,000. So now cumulative value of company A was be 30,930. I did same for invoices and for payments. Now I only needed to get to the point where I can match this 30,000 over here. So first payment to company A was 11,529. Second was 19,000. Cumulative was 30,000. So this is more than the 30,930 here. So this bill would have been paid in this particular entry. So it fetched that date. It uses VLOOKUP using the same logic that I showed you in IT format in the income tax calculator. These are not exact matching. So it got the number which was smaller than this amount and it matched the date using this. I can show you the formula. It is XLOOKUP. Also, it matched two things. It matched company A and invoice number for it. So XLOOKUP using party and cumulative. Party A, the cumulative value was 930. It looks for this in this column, party and cumulative combined, and it returns the date column. This is a very simple scenario. It saves days of work for parties which have hundreds of thousands of rows of data and we don't know how to do this. To show you this example, because I have used column, I can just change this data and this will the formulas will automatically work. Let me just make another invoice. Now it shows error over here because this bill has not been paid yet for company D. You see company D, the cumulative value of his invoices is 84,000, whereas the cumulative payment done to company D is 65,000. So the last bill is not paid. If I add today's data for company D, the amount, let's say 50,000. Let me just check if there is some mistake. Let me get back to you on this one. I think there was a mistake in the demo file that I had created. Moving on to another example. I have a salary sheet over here and I want to show you a simple formula to calculate PTR. You can see that salary was maintained in this format, whereby the name of the person is total salary. So I grouped this data using Power Query, made this data into a column where we can process it for PT. So now I have name and months over here and salary over here. A simple formula of COUNTIF and to check how many of employees have gone beyond the particular values of PTR. It has changed this year for females, so it is about 25,000, but this is for last year. Now this uses a new formula called lambda and by column. So the wonderful thing about this is If I delete this data, nothing will happen. If I hit delete over here, clear contents, nothing will happen because the formula that I have used is a array formula. It's a new thing in Excel, very exciting. It is available in 21 and Office 365. The logic of an array formula is that in earlier version of Excel, if you were to ask Excel to return a specific row, a specific reference, it will return you. But if you ask it to return an array, that is multiple cells, it will give an error. But in Office 365, it will return all those columns. So using that and new functions, I have devised where can whereby I only need to put the formula in one cell, and for in the other cells, it will be calculated automatically. If you see, if I press F2 here, there is no formula here or here. The formula is only over here. So you can use all these different techniques for all your different auditing and day-to-day things. One more example that I had developed was now that introduction of audit trail, there is a need to check if all the entries have been done properly in Tally and none of it has been deleted. So I had exported a simple daybook from Tally. It has all the vouchers, voucher number, and the amount of it. Now, what I want to say is whether any transaction was deleted or it is missing from this file. So I used Power Query and some formulas to make it. I'll just show you how I did it. So if you see this data, there is nothing much to clean here. So you remove a few rows, you make headers, and this is ready. The only need I wanted to clear was that there are some voucher numbers that have 22, 23 in it. So I filtered that initially. That was part of a different query. Now I needed to extract only voucher numbers, only numerical voucher numbers, and not the series, which is 23, 24, or let's say for saleable addresses substance. So I asked it to extract the last value after the slash. It is very simple. You go to transform and you ask it to extract text after a delimiter. So you put slash here and you ask it to give you the first value before the last slash of this particular thing. And it will give you that. I filtered the purchase voucher types because purchase voucher numbers are usually given by our vendors and entered as such. And then I sorted it. So when I load this data, I have used a new formula called sequence here. So what sequence does is sequence gives you sequence gives you a sequence. Let's say I want 10 rows of data, it will give me. So I ask the sequence to give me a rows of data for each particular voucher type up to the max of that voucher type. So for contra, let's say the max is 7. So he will first give me 7. And then I needed to figure out that between this sequence and this sequence, which was the column, which was the number that was not repeated. So let's say in contra, number 3 was missing. This gives you number 3. Let's say 4 was missing. This is also give you number 4. Like that, I made it for all the voucher types, and this is dynamic. Let's say I delete contra will be removed here. No reference errors, nothing. And if I add a particular voucher type, let's say new, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, and all missing 9 and 10. So I go to the end of this. formula 6, 7, 8 are missing. So this is not a very complex thing that I have done, nor is it a complex query that I have figured out. But when we check these things, we either ignore checking all this because it takes time. Now, because it takes only 2 to 3 minutes to check this, we will all check this and find out that there are so many errors here. Let me just check how much time we have left. I think there are five last few minutes remaining. So if we can take up questions now.
Yeah, fine, Karan.
Yeah.
There are a few questions posted by participants. One of them is, how do you maintain daily work report of article and staff in Excel with security function? I think we'll take that with Hardik on that front. Could you just elaborate on text before and text after formula?
Yeah, definitely. So text before and text after our latest formula, usually available in online Excel for free. So irrespective of which version of Excel you have, if you use it online, these formulas will be available. Now, let's say this was the data I used as an example. So I wanted to extract the
Your
data
screen
between.
sharing is stopped.
Oh, sorry. Let me just restart it. Is it visible now?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So the formula, the example I had used was I wanted to extract the data between this particular bracket in this text. So there was a very complex formula that we used to use before 365, but let's not get into that. There is a very simple formula called text after. So what text after will do is you give it a particular symbol or a text and it will give you all the data after those texts. So this is the particular text that I want to process, and the delimiter would be open bracket. And I close the formula and it gives me everything after this bracket. Then I needed to get everything before the closing bracket. So we can do is text before, this is the text, this is the delimiter, close the bracket, and now we have our data. What I did was I combined this data. So let's say I put this over here. Because I need to put this. Now in one particular cell, we have a formula that gets the text after the open bracket and before this close bracket. We can use it for voucher numbering or anything that we can want to. Okay. Any next question?
Could you just show power desktop automation?
Power query or power desktop? Power
Power
automate desktop.
desktop automation.
Power automate desktop. Okay. So this is the power automate thing. Now I had shown 26 as auto download. So I will show how I made that. I have various modules to download text statements, AI statements, to upload few things, to get data from various sites like rates and sale, share pricing, and etc. But in this particular example, let me just show you how I did it. So this is the main screen of it. We have various actions over here. The action could be open a browser, open a Excel file, close a browser. So I started with, I had made some variables. For what I wanted to do is read an Excel file first. The Excel file stores username and data. So it will launch the Excel first. That I have a particular data sheet. It will go to that data sheet. It will get all the data from the Excel sheet. So read from Excel sheet and close the Excel because the data will be stored now in Power Automate desktop. The next thing we need to do is we need to launch Chrome, put user ID, click the button of login, then click the check mark in the login screen, put the password, uh, input password, then click continue, wait for a few seconds for the next page to load, and using all this, going to 26 years site, pressing various buttons, then at the end, closing the web browser. In between, and I had I had put that popular text field in the window, the download screen. I had asked it to put folder path, then download folder, current item, pan. So whichever client, the pan of that, the AY which I am downloading, and at the end, it will close the browser. Let me show you
Steps.
for.
This all steps are to be specifically selected and edited, or it takes from the actions you do.
No, you have to define all the steps.
Okay.
So it can be a cumbersome in at the first to setting it up, but once you have done it, believe me, it saves a lot of time. It is my daily routine to export around 20 to 25 reports in Excel every day. So, and my data is humongous. So it takes around 5 to 6 minutes just to export one report. So what I do is I have made an Tally Power Automate desktop. I have made an Excel file listing out all the reports that I want to export at the beginning of my day. And it will go and export all this and store into the specific folder that I want to. And once those files are stored in those particular folder, there are various reports that I have created, which I will go and put refresh in Power Query, and all my audit queries will be listed. So let me just show you. This is my live data. There are various raw data files that I have exported that Tally exports every day. And then I have an audit folder whereby I have made many audit query files using Power Query. It fetches data from those raw data that I exported. It's refreshed and gives me query list. And using this, all my accountants itself are doing audit of themselves. I don't need to do it for them.
How do a common layman learn these things on especially setting up those steps in
So
Power?
this is very simple. I myself was a layman before using this. All the things that I have showed you today, I have learned using YouTube and just YouTube. I have not done any course, not done any specialization. Let me just show you how this works. Once you see a couple of YouTube videos, you will get the hang of it. It is very simple. It's just that you must be willing to put in the necessary hours. So launch Chrome. All the actions that you want to do are listed here. You just have to figure out what you want to do. So it will launch a new extension. I will have to put in a LR URL code, and it will then launch that. It is very simple. There's not enough time, else I would have shown a simple video from YouTube regarding it.
No worries. I think you have brought in. We would end this Q&A, and you deserve a great vote of thanks from all the participants. You brought your all technical skills which you have learned over these years from your self study, and enlightened people out here with such eye openers tools available which can save a lot of things. And it is itself a demo of all RPA which people many software uses, but here we have our own software man Karan here to demo the RPA which people can themselves make it for their own self and customize and use it. On behalf of all the participants, I would thank Karan. I would also thank the committee for giving me this opportunity to serve as a coordinator. We'll go to the next session. Yeah.
Thank you
Dinesh,
very much, everyone.
yeah. Dinesh, you can take it over.
Everyone. We Am I audible? Hello,
Yeah,
am
Dinesh,
I
you're
audible?
audible. You're audible.
Yes. So We are pleased to welcome CA Hardik Savla, a chartered accountant and a company secretary who has a rich and diverse experience in the field of direct taxation to our upcoming webinar on Excel automation for CA firms and tax technology for transformation tools. With over 8 years of post-qualification experience in both corporate and consulting industry, CA Hardik Savla brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to the table. Hardik is currently serving as a partner at TaxTech, a boutique firm specializing in developing applications for tax compliances. Also, he has a proven track record in leveraging technology to streamline tax processes and enhance operational efficiencies. His ability to develop software solutions tailored to meet the specific needs of corporates has set him apart in the industry. Prior to his current engagement, he held key positions in renowned organizations such as BDO India LLP, Steadfast Business Advisors LLP, Deloitte Haskins and Sales LLP, and Larsen and Toubro Limited. Throughout his career, he has been actively involved in wide range of tax-related projects, including monetization of assets for ILFS Group and providing strategic guidance to L&T Group companies on mitigating POEM exposure. His extensive work experience encompasses various aspects of direct taxation, including corporate income tax returns, handling income tax assessments and appeals, transfer pricing assessments, etc. His proficiency in advising on withhold tax for payments to non-residents and optimizing tax tools for corporates has been instrumental in driving their success. We are excited to have CA Hardik Savla as our guest speaker and we look forward to his insightful presentation on the topic. His expertise and practical insights will undoubtedly empower our audience with valuable knowledge and tools to enhance their tax practices and embrace digital transformation. Over to you, Hardik.
Thank you. Thank you, Dinesh, so much for a wonderful introduction. Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone. I'll quickly start on the topic. So I'll start with my session wherein I'll be demonstrating the tools that we have made to help us in our ongoing tax practice and which are also helping our clients. So I'll directly jump to the tools. I'm sharing my screen. Please confirm once my screen is visible. Okay, yeah. The first tool that I'm going to demonstrate is the TaxTech Notice Tracker. So we usually face this issue with our clients, wherein if you're managing say 300, 400 clients, and clients would receive multiple notices, notices for reopening, notices for 143.1 or 133.6 notice. Client might not be in a position to give you the notice within a timeline when they have to respond it. And because of that, there might be delay in responding. There could be penalty issues. So what we have done is we have developed a very simple desktop-based application so that all your clients' data will reside with you. So this is not a cloud-based application wherein you're sharing your data. This is a desktop-based application. A very simple application wherein you just add the credentials, login credentials of your client. And with a click of a button, application will go onto the income tax website, will download all the income tax notices under various sections, including 133.6 notices, will download all the submissions and will populate a very intelligent dashboard for your reference, wherein you will come to know which notice has to be replied by which date. Application will also assign status to each notice. Basically, you will come to know which notice is pending to be replied or which notice has been already replied or where there is a partial response or where there is an overdue, where you have forgotten to reply to the particular notice. Plus, application will also save all these notices in a proper folder structure, wherein application itself will create a client-wise folder, and within that, different assessment tiers and different proceedings. So all of this will be done by the application with a click of a button. So I'll start from the zero. Right now, you can see everything is blank. There is no data available here. So the first step, how do you add assets basically? Whoever are your client, how do you add the login details of your client on the application? There are two mechanisms. One is you can click on a create button here and application will ask you to add their name, the username and the password. Or else we also have in CSV upload. In the case you have 400, 500 clients, adding client one by one will not make any sense. So we have a CSV upload also available. So I'll just directly upload the template here. Yeah, that is true. So with a click of a button, you can see that the application has taken so I've just changed the name for confidentiality purpose. The application with a click of a button has just taken the ID password of the data from the Excel sheet that you just uploaded. Right. For the demo purpose, I've just taken 3 credentials. However, you can use this application for multiple assistants for 500,000. There is no limit as such. Now you select the clients for which you want to download notice. I've selected all the clients, and you can click on download notices. The application has started the process. Yeah. You can go to the logs tab. Application will tell you which assessee it's trying to download and which is in queue. You can see here for ID number 50, test credential 2, the password was wrong. So application will also inform you that for a particular client, this particular password is wrong. So it is not able to log on under the income tax website. So wherever application faces any issue, it will communicate to you. It's not a case that you'll have to hunt what is the reason why this application failed to download notice for a particular client. So it would take around 2-3 minutes to download all the notices, all the submissions, along with all the attachments. Till then, I'll just take you through the tabs that we have. So we have so the view that we have developed, we have stick to the format of income tax because we are used to it. So first, you'll get a proceeding-wise view. So here, for each client, you will get to know what are the total ongoing proceedings. So just with a view of this particular window, you'll get to know that there are these many proceedings that are going on for a particular client. So there is assessment under 153A, there is a defective notice, and you can also see multiple years that are available here. There's a penalty proceeding going on. Now, if you want to see the notice within that particular proceeding, you can just click on them and you'll be able to see the notices that are available under that particular proceeding. So yeah, these are the 2 notices that were available in that particular penalty proceeding. Your application will provide you all the data, the proceeding type, who is the assessee, what is the email that is registered on the income tax website, so that you also come to know the notice. If at all it is getting missed, it is going to which email ID, the document identification number, the date on which the notice was issued, the response due date, by which date you have to reply. And application is also tracking whether you have replied to a particular notice of no. You can see here that application has captured the information that yes, you have replied to that particular notice, and accordingly, application itself has assigned a status of complied to this particular notice. And you can see the type of response as well. This is a full response that you have provided. Now, if you want to see what is the response that you submitted, you can just click on this response icon. The application will also show you what was the response that you had submitted to against the particular notice. And it will give you a complete detailed view, including all the text that you would have written while making the submission. So you can see what all you have written here while submitting it, and what all attachments you have uploaded on the income tax website. So everything is available to you at one place itself. So what you have tried to do with this particular application is create a central repository of your entire income tax data and of all your clients in one. If you were to do this particular activity without this application, imagine you have 50 clients. You have to log into each client manually, download their notices, download their submissions, would be a tedious task, and definitely would not happen within a period of 1 week. It would take a longer time. With this application, this entire activity for your 500,000 clients could be done within a span of half an hour to 45 minutes, and that too with a click of a button. If you want to download any particular attachment also, you can just click with a click of a button, that particular attachment will get downloaded. Right? Now this, we saw the notice for a particular proceeding only. If you want to see notices for all the proceedings across all the clients, you also have a separate notice tab available wherein you can see all the clients. Here you see a quick stat wherein based on the status, the application is highlighting the number of notices under different status. Here you can see there are 2 pending notices. Pending basically means you have not replied to this notice yet, and there is a time remaining. Like you still have time to reply to that particular notice. The due date has not passed. Overdue notices mean you have not replied to this particular notice, but the timeline to reply has already gone. So these are the notices that you failed to reply, and against these notices, there could be a penalty under section 271. Then there are certain notices to which you would have complied partially and not completely. So those are separately flagged. Then there would be notices against which you would have made a full response properly within timeline. Those are complied notice. And we have another portion called as unknown. These are basically issue letters wherein as such no action is required, and there is no response due date that is available on the income tax website. That has been flagged separately. Here, you can see all the notices of all your clients across multiple proceedings that are available. You have a basic filter feature also available. So if you want to view notices only of a specific client, you can easily do that by selecting which client you want to do it. We also have a sorting option available for you so that you can sort this complete table on the basis of date of issue. If you want to see the latest notice, you can just sort the issue on the basis of the latest date. That is possible. You can sort on the basis of the response due date, so that whichever notice is due to be replied at the earliest, you can focus on that notice. And yeah, so this is the complete data. So what you're trying to do is we're trying to replicate entire data that is available on the income tax website, so that you don't have to log in again and again, and you just have all the data available at one place. And if you want to download a particular notice, it's available here. Just again with a click of a button, that particular notice would get downloaded in the PDF format. And there could be certain scenario wherein, say, the response due date here is 2nd May. However, you would want to file an adjournment, and a lot of times you might not make a submission on the income tax website. You might, if you are in contact with the assessing officer, you might just call in and say that you might be coming after 1 week or after 15 days. In that case, there is an also option available wherein you can override this response date manually. You can click on edit, and you can select what is the status. You can change the status if you want, and you can also mention the adjourn date. So the application very beautifully is also recording the actual response date and also the adjourn date. So there is a proper audit trail that is maintained, and it will also ask you for the remarks. If you're making any changes, what is the reason that you're making any changes? So that a complete audit trail is available, whoever is viewing this particular application, right? And we also spoke that the data, all the documents are available on this application, plus the application has also created multiple folder structures. So you can see here, application has, so test credential 2, we saw that the password was wrong, so it has not downloaded any documents. However, for other test credential 1 and 3, it has downloaded all the documents, and it has not downloaded the documents in a junk manner. It is not a case that in one folder it has dumped all the 100 PDF files. It will create a proper folder structure. You can see that year-wise there's a folder. Within a year also there will be a proceeding type folder. If there are multiple proceedings that are going on, application will make a proceeding-wise folder. So this is a typical folder structure that we usually have in our income tax team, and we have tried to stick to it. If you go to within a particular proceeding, you can see the notices, and there will be a separate folder of a response. And within response also, application will make a folder on the basis of date. So if you would have made multiple responses against a particular notice, application will provide you multiple folder based on date. So basically your entire data, if you are in an appeal or you're making a paperwork submission, you just have to click a button and all the data will be available with you. And then you can choose what documents you want to submit and everything. So the proposition that this application is trying to provide is one is time saving, and other is all the data. You can create a central repository of whatever documents has been uploaded on the income tax website. Because a lot of times there's also difficulty wherein you might have multiple files on your server, and then you're not aware which was the actual file that you have uploaded on the income tax website. So with the help of this application, those confusions would also get clear. Along with downloading the notices and the submissions, we have also incorporated another important feature wherein application is also downloading the demand. So there could be multiple demands that would be outstanding with respect to your client. A lot of time it goes unnoticed because we don't pay attention to the demand notices that has been provided, that has been sent to our email ID. And in the long run, the income tax department ends up adjusting these demands against refunds of following years. So we have in this application, we have also incorporated wherein with a click of a button, you'll be able to see what is the total demand that is outstanding against each bank. So this gives you a total demand. And if you want to see a year-on-year demand, you can just click on this button, and application will also provide you the data for a detailed breakdown of the demand. Like so that 8 crore, it pertains to which year, the demand is under which section, what is the total demand amount, and this demand amount that is reflecting, it is inclusive of interest. So this is your total demand amount. Plus, it also captures whether you have filed any response or not. Now again, it becomes pertinent to file response against these demands, because if you have not filed any response, then the department would end up adjusting your demand under Section 245. So to save your client from their demands, their unjust demands getting adjusted against their actual refund, this will help you to identify there are how many demands and whether against those demands you have filed any response on them, right? Yeah, so this is everything. And plus the all the data that you can see on the application, everything can be exported to Excel. So we have a download CSV button because at the end of the day, we are all chartered accountants. We need data in an Excel format wherein we can do analysis or we would want to add some filter or anything. What we have done is, though we have tried to present the data with all the filters available in a proper manner on the application, still for the purpose of flexibility, we have given an option for you to export this entire data on the application in an Excel. You can export this entire demand sheet into an CSV. You can export entire your notice table into an Excel sheet, and whatever data you can see on the application here would be available to you on the in the Excel workbook as well in the CSV. And what application does is also maintains the log. So here you can see. So every time you run this application will prepare a batch. So right now I ran this application. It has created a batch ID number 6. And within this batch, it will tell me that I ran this application for these 3 credentials. And within 3 credentials, the application is telling me that it could complete the entire process for these 2 clients. However, for the credential 2, it could not complete the task because the password was invalid. So every time you come onto the application, you will be well aware the data that is available on this application, it pertains to which date, because the date would be available here. So you know how recent is the data. And if you want to again run it, you would be easily able to run it, and application would create another batch for your another activity. So yes, so this is one of the applications that we have developed in-house, and we have a lot of chartered accountants are using this application to track their clients' data. A lot of corporates are using this application because missing of notices is one of the very prime reason for issue of penalty by the assessing officers. And in today's time, when everything has gone faceless, it has become more pertinent because earlier we used to interact with the assessing officers and we were able to manage our notices. But now the income tax notice, because of the faceless assessment, they're sending notices even on Saturdays and Sundays. There's a good chance that you might end up missing on that notice, or the client might not send you the notice within the given timeline. So with the help of the application, you can proactively tell your client that these are the notices that you have received and you should reply to these notices within the given timeline. So yeah, this application will help you to comply all your notices and would probably save your client from any penalty exposure. So this is one of the applications that we have developed. Jumping on to the another application. So we have also developed another application called as 15CA CV management application. So what this application does, a lot of us, like we all are chartered accountants, and in our practice, we would have many clients for which we would be issuing Form 15CA CV certificates. Now, the typical process, now correct me if I'm wrong, the typical process that I understand that we usually follow, a client would send you a data over email. You get an email and then you start processing the data. There will be multiple to and fro between you and the client over email or over calls with respect to the insufficiency of the data. Or if you have any doubts, you might clarify. Then client would follow up with you over call or over email. What is the status? Why have you not issued 15 CV? Sometimes there could be a dispute wherein you would say that I've not received any email. You have not sent the data in a correct format. And at the end, there is no central repository again available to you, wherein if you want to create any MIS or any analysis, you're not able to do it. If you want to know if for a particular financial year, say financial year 22-23, what are the total number of 15 CVs that you have issued, you would not get that data. If you want to understand to a particular foreign vendor, how many payments have you made within a particular year? Or what are the number of payments on which there was a gross up? To have all this analysis done, we don't have data in a particular format. So at present, we are not able to do this analysis. So we understood this problem, and what we have done is, we have created a complete managed 15CA CV management application that digitizes the complete process, starting from the point when client raises the request to the point when CA finally uploads Form 15 CV and client finally uploads Form 15 CA part. This entire process would be done on the application itself, and all the data that is getting captured in the application would be used by the application to generate multiple dashboards and multiple reports. Now, this application would have basically two entities. One would be a chartered accountant, a CA firm, and one would be the client side, the client's team. So we would create two groups here. So you can see there are masters. One would be CA firm. You can create your CA firm, add your team members, say five people, 10 people, and you can create a client account as well. Multiple clients, 100 clients, 200 clients. You can create a group. Say we have an XYZ group, and within that group, you can create X company, Y company, Z company, right? And you can onboard all the users. Now, this is a cloud-based application, and you can also host it on your normal server. So if you want to go beyond, if you do not want to use the cloud, then that is possible. So what is happening is that every user will have their own login ID password. So this is just like a social media account, wherein if you want to access the data, you would log in using your own credentials, right? So that means that ensures there is complete data sanctity and security. Now, if there are multiple team members in your group and there are multiple clients, you can assign each company to a particular user. Say, Mr. Rahul would be handling only company X. Ms. Ashwini would be handling company Y. You can also do that. There is complete user control management. And you can see there are multiple dashboards that are available. So right now there are these basic dashboards when an application will tell you for a particular period, the financial year 20 to 23, there are how many Form 15 CVs that you have filed. What is the total foreign payment, inclusive of TDS, that you have paid month-on-month basis? What is the total TDS amount that you have paid for each month? And what are the different types of payment that you have made? You get a complete, so a client tax head or a CFO would get a complete overview of their foreign transaction with it. Now I'll take you through the process. So process would start with the client raising a request. So we have a request mechanism in this application itself. The client would log in through their account of client preparer. Yeah, so this is a client preparer's account wherein you can see a request tab. So see, say a client wants to raise a request to create a Form 15 CV. Instead of emailing it to you, client would just click on a raise request button here. The application asks simple questions, whether it's a new beneficiary or an existing beneficiary. If it's an existing beneficiary, application has master of all the foreign vendors. So application will give in the drop down, if you want to make payment to an existing beneficiary, who is that beneficiary? You can select the Microsoft. The client can add remarks, the client can add proposed date of remittance, and client can also upload documents. So all the TRC, no P undertaking, whatever are the documents that client want to upload, instead of sending it over email, client can just upload it here, and then client can give a tag. Whatever document it has uploaded, it is what, whether it's a PAN, it's no P undertaking. So all the data remains in one place. So client would upload all this data and client would send it to the CA firm as a request. Once client sends the request, the CA firm would get a notification on their email ID that there's a new request from the client, and CA firm then can log in from their own ID and then check the request. So the request would be visible to them on this portal. And now the CA firm also has an option to reject a particular request, because if say there is any data insufficiency or a particular document is not available in a proper format, a CA firm has an option to reject that particular document as well. The reject the request. Once the CA firm rejects it, the request would again flow back to the client, wherein the client can make the changes and it will again come back. And if CA finds, if the chartered accountant firm feels that the documents, whatever has been shared by the client, are sufficient and are in good shape, the chartered accountant can directly start preparing Form 15 CACV from request itself. And once it starts, the application will show that this particular request is under progress. So the CA firm is working on it. So the client would get a real-time update of the status of Form 15 CV. They need not call you or send you an email, what is the status. Everything will be available to the client on a real-time basis, right? Now, what will be the process for the CA form? Once you get the request, you can directly start preparing Form 15 CV. Before that, I'll take you to the beneficiary master. So we have created a beneficiary master here. This will basically house details of all the foreign vendors of the client. I'll take you to the tab. We have captured all the details that are required from the Form 15 CV perspective, and we have also captured certain additional data to gather some additional points. So here you can record their name, addresses. We're also capturing whether that particular foreign party is a related party or not. Now, this particular tagging will help me to generate a related party transaction sheet at the end of the year when I'm preparing my Form 3 CEV or when I'm closing my final account. I can reconcile my transactions that are available in Form 3CV with the transactions that are available in this application. So for that purpose, we have created this tagging as well. And plus, the important thing, you can record all the tax-specific documents of those foreign vendors. Now, this becomes very important because, and again, in the current scenario wherein the tax rate under 115A has been increased to 20%, we would like to take benefit of BTAA, the BTAA rate being lower. However, to take benefit of BTAA, you need a host of documents. You need TRC, you need no P undertaking, you need Form 10F. So application will maintain record of which foreign vendor has TRC available. It will go to an extent to maintain record whether the TRC is valid or not. So you can also record the validity date of those TRC of those documents in the application, and application intelligently will send you reminders whenever that particular document is going to expire. So every 7 days, application sends a Excel report of a beneficiary wherein it mentions the documents that have already been expired in past 30 days and the documents that are going to expire in next 30 days. So this will help you and your client to be on your toes and obtain updated documents on a priority basis, because the foreign payments are usually done on a priority basis, right? You don't have much turnaround time. And in a case valid documents are not available, the foreign party would not like to bear the cost, and it ends up being the cost to your client. So this proactiveness would help your client to save on their TDS cost as well. And again, whatever documents you would have with respect to that foreign vendor, you can always upload that, right? So that you have all the data available with you at one place. This takes care of your beneficiary master. Then we come to Form 15 CV. Now, what we have done here is we have created a workflow mechanism. So there could be, so we have inculcated a maker-checker concept in this application itself. So within your team, say there could be someone who prepares a particular Form 15 CV. Once he prepares Form 15 CV, the 15 CV will be in a draft state. It will then go to approver. Once approver approves it, it will go to the signing partner. And only once signing partner approves it, the status of this Form 15 CV would change to finalized. A finalized status means that everybody in the hierarchy has approved a particular certificate. And once a particular certificate has been finalized, only then this XML generate button will get activated. So there's a control check here. Till the time everybody has approved the particular certificate, application will not allow you to generate an XML file. Right? Only once everybody is approved, you can see this particular certificate is pending for approval. There is no download XML option available here. But because this particular certificate has been approved, you can click on download XML. Application will generate XML with a click of a button. You can just upload this XML on the income tax website. Once you have uploaded it on the income tax website, there's also provision for you to record the details of that certificate on the application. So you can record the UDIN number, the acknowledgement number, the certificate date, and you can also upload the signed certificate on this application. Once you do that, the status of the certificate changes to uploaded. And once you do this, the application will send a notification to your client that the CA has uploaded Form 15 CV, and your client can directly come onto the application and download the certificate. There is no need for you to separately email certificate to your client, right? So the application takes care of that as well. It will send notification to the client saying that the certificate has been uploaded. And it also acts as a good repository wherein all your UDIN, because ICAI also takes this initiative every 6 months, 7 months to notify members that there are multiple certificates lying in the account of chartered accountant wherein UDIN has not been assigned. So with this mechanism, we ensure that every time you issue a certificate, there is a UDIN that you have generated and you store it along with that certificate. So 2 years, 3 years down the line, if you want to refer back to that certificate, you would have all the data available with you at one place, including the UDIN and acknowledgement number. Plus, the application maintains a complete audit trail. So when was the request received? Who prepared the draft? Who approved it at the first level? Who approved at the second level? If there are any comments at the time of approval, you can also add those comments. So there would be no dispute between you and the client whenever the certificate is generated. Plus, 2-3 years down the line, when you receive a notice with respect to a particular certificate as to why did you deduct TDS at a particular rate, you would have all the data available with you at one place. You do not have to run helter-skelter searching through multiple files or folders to archive that data. It will be easily available with you at one place, right? So this has a feature of maker checker that works wonder for the large corporate. And then we also have another wonderful feature of repeat payment. Now you would have experienced that Some clients have repetitive payments. They are making payment to Microsoft of license fee on a monthly basis. Now, you have already reviewed those payments. The tax positions have already been taken. Everything remains same. Only the amount and the proposed date of remittance would change. So what we have done is we have created this duplicate feature. In case of such repetitive payment, just with a click of a button, application will generate the entire past certificate in a duplicate form. So all the data would be available to you, would be entered by the application itself. You don't have to do anything. You just have to change the proposed date of remittance because that might be different, and probably the amount because on account of exchange rate that would have changed. So this helps the CA firm to reduce their turnaround time, quickly send the certificate to the client, right? So this is a pretty time-saving feature. And once Form 15 CV has been uploaded, the client can log in through their account and with a click of a button can generate the Form 15 CA parcel. So it works in tandem with, there is a complete coordination between the CA firm and the client, and everything is managed through one application itself, leaving no room for any confusion per se. Sometimes it can happen that after you have uploaded a particular form, the client might come and tell you that they want to revoke a particular certificate. So we have got that revoke feature also in the application. Once you have uploaded, you have an option to revoke a particular certificate as well, so that you have a complete proper, like the revoke certificate option available. You can click on it and application will revoke that particular certificate. And at the time of revoking, you also have an option to link the certificate. So once you revoke the certificate and you generate a new certificate, you can link the new certificate with this revoked certificate. So at any point of time, you'll have a proper information available that against a particular revoked certificate, which was the new certificate that you issued, right? This might also help you in the billing purpose, so that you have a proper count of total how many certificates you have filed. Similar to 15 CV, the same process will follow the Form 15 CA Part A, B, and D, wherein you can just click with a click of a button, add the data, and you can generate XML. Now, the application does all this, acts as a single repository. All is good and everything is fine, right? This we have seen that this becomes a central repository. But the prime importance of why we are doing this is that application, once we store the data, once I have all the metadata available with me, there are a number of reports that I can generate. And this is the goal that can help us in serving our clients better. Now, if you want to download list of all the beneficiaries with a click of a button, you can easily do that. Just select the group and the company that you want, and application will download, give you a CSV of all the beneficiaries. And in this Excel sheet, application will provide you the data of the address of that particular beneficiary, whether that particular beneficiary has a TRC, no P undertaking, if it is valid or no. So this is the kind of analysis that I'm talking about. Once you have all the data available with you, in this entire Excel sheet, you have, I'll just do the formatting. Yeah. In this entire Excel sheet, you have the data of all the beneficiaries. Right now, for the demo purpose, there are only 2 beneficiaries, but here you have the complete data available as to the particular beneficiary has TRC or no. Is there an OP declaration or no? If you have the document, what is the validity? You have a complete report available to you. Similarly, if you want to understand if during a particular period, what is the total 15 CV that you have filed? No, you can just again select the group and the company. You also have an option to filter out the report on the basis of the nature of remittance. So if you only want to see a report on the basis of the consulting charges or the advertisement fee, you can do that. If you want a report on the basis of a beneficiary, you can do that. And then again, there is a time frame available that you can do. So let me do it for the last financial year, from April 1 to till today, and I can download CSV. Again, with a click of a button, application will provide you an entire data of how many Form 15 CVs you have filed within a particular financial year. Just download that data. Yeah. And again, in this Excel report, application will give you complete data as to what was the nature of payment, whether you have deducted the TDS. Yeah, you can see here who is the beneficiary to whom you have made the payment. I'll again just format it. Yeah. Whether it's a related party or no, what was the amount of payment that you have done, at what exchange rate did you convert it, whether there was a gross up, what was the TDS amount, what was the acknowledgement number, UDN number. You have entire universe of data with respect to your foreign payments available to you at a fingertip, which will help you to do multiple analysis and serve your clients better. So yeah, this is another application that we have developed for managing data of our clients of large corporates. Then there is another application that we have developed, which we call it as TDS Amigo. Now, the basic reason why we developed this application was, and I'm sure all of us would be able to relate to this. Let me just open the application first. Yeah, this is my simple application. Again, this is a desktop-based application, so no worry with respect to data security. Now, what happens is everything moving to online, no e-assessment and everything, the GST, income tax, ROC. There's been restriction on the documents that you can upload on these websites. Now, restriction pertains to the type of document, the size of document. Some could be password protected, so you might have to remove password before uploading the document. And all of this might look simple, but I've seen people spending a lot of their time in doing this kind of activity. And the only option available to us today for doing this activity is either we take a Adobe license, which is very costly, ranges to 13,000-15,000 per license, or there are online websites like I Love PDF, Small PDF. Now, again, there are security risks with respect to these websites because you're uploading your client's confidential data on these third-party application server, which might again be outside India. So there are a lot of data security issues that can arise if you're doing this. What did we do? We understood this problem. We sat down with our team and we understood that what are the different features that we require in different websites, no income tax or ROC, and we developed a simple desktop-based application to help you to do this particular job. Now, one of the important features that we saw was the compressing of files. No, everywhere there's a restriction. You cannot upload more than 5 MB or you cannot upload more than 3 MB. So we have a compressed feature available. I'll just show you the demo. Say we have this particular agreement which ranges to say 18,000 KB, 18 MB, and I want to reduce the size to below 5 MB. So I just select this particular document. I just select this particular document, and you can select the resolution also. Resolution is basically a quality of document. If you want a better quality, you can increase the resolution. If you are okay with downgrading the quality, you can reduce the resolution. And you can decide what is the total size that you want. I want for 5 MB, and I'll run this application, and it would take around 5 to 10 seconds, lesser than that in fact. And you have the document ready. The application has compressed the particular document, and you can see it has compressed the document to 1 KB in fact. I think it's still processing the particular document. Yeah. So just with the click of a button, application will compress the particular document to the required size that you want. And just with the help of this particular application, it saves you the file has been compressed successfully, and you can see the final size. Yeah, you can see the final size of the document is 1.7, like 1000 KB, which is 1 MB basically. So from 18 MB, it converted the file to 17 MB, and with the proper, I'll open the document as well if you want to see, and it would have a proper resolution, a readable resolution. Yeah, you can see that, right? So we have this compress feature available. Similar to compress feature, we have a multiple compress feature also available. So if you want to compress multiple documents at once and not don't want to do it one by one, you can easily do that. Then there's a decrypt feature also available, wherein say you want to remove a password for a particular file. This usually happens with 143.1 intimation, which is a password protected, or 245 intimation. Once you have saved the document, whenever you want to refer to that document, you always have to enter the password. It's not that time consuming, it's just a bit irritating that if you want to again and again enter the password. What we have done is we have a feature available here, but be sure that this application is not cracking the password. You should know the password to remove the password. So we are not doing anything illegal here. Only the person who has the password will be able to remove the password from a particular document. So I just select the remove password feature, select the particular document that for which you want to remove the password, so declare password protected file, enter the password. So I have saved password in this particular notepad. Yeah, so I enter it. And again, with the click of a button, the application will remove the password. Password removed successfully. So you have a file now that is available to you wherein there is no password. So you can be able to open this particular file without, and this application is able to do it without hampering the document. There is no change in the format of the document. Because a lot of time what happens, like I've come across this few points that people say that you can do save as PDF and stuff. But when you do that, those save as PDF, A lot of time the application converts the data into a text format. A lot of time application increases the size of the data. So again, you can do that, but this I feel is a more professional and a more sophisticated way to remove the password of a particular document. Another important feature that we have is a multi-merge. Now, take a scenario wherein you're preparing a submission and say there are multiple documents, and in the era of e-assessment, you have to merge multiple documents and prepare a summary, index, page number. So again, we understood this problem, and what did we do? We developed a feature wherein you can merge multiple documents and application itself will do the page numbering and indexing. I'll just show it to you. Yes, I'll go to multi-merge. Yeah, I'll select add index. I'll select all the documents that I have to add here to multi-merge. Select all the documents. And you can also change the order if you want. If you want a particular document to come first, you can always do that. If you can just drag it and drop it here. Even that is possible. You can add a title, a paper book. Right? And then you can just run. Application again within no time. It hardly took 1 second to merge multiple documents, and it will also generate an index. So you can see it has merged all these documents. Yeah, you can see a proper index is available to you along with serial number and page number. And it has done the page numbering in an exact manner, the way we do in our appeals. And it will also have numbering for each page at the bottom of the document. So I'll just show you now. So the entire task that we used to do manually, yeah, you can see there's a page numbering for each page number, each page as well. So now you can just print this particular document and you have your index and page numbering ready. Till now, what we used to do is to merge online, then take a printout, do page numbering manually or with a stamp, and then again scan the document and upload, which is time consuming. Scanning the document again increases the size, which will create a problem while uploading the document. So again, that is I wouldn't say a very smart way to do it. So this application would again help you to merge documents, create paperwork with a click of a button. Yeah, there are other small features that are available in this application as well. You can rotate a particular page, you can delete a particular page, but I understand there's a paucity of time, and this being a Friday evening, you all would be eager to, complete the session. So yeah, these are the 3 applications that we have developed. There are other small applications that also we keep developing. We have a PAN verification application wherein before filing the TDS returns, if you have 10,000, 15,000 deductees and you want to verify the PAN, whether the PANs are valid or no, if the legal name is valid or no, we have an application to do that as well. We have an application wherein you can generate multiple 15 CP XML. Now, this is relevant for dividend assignment. When the government started taxing dividends in 2020, the listed companies were making payment to non-residents now, and they would have large number of non-resident shareholders, 10,000, 15,000. To generate 15,000, 15 CVs through government utility would probably take you months. What we did, we developed an application which generates 15,000, 1 lakh XML on the basis of an Excel sheet. So, and within probably 10 minutes. So we also have that application available with us. So yeah. So we just wanted to take you through these 3 applications that would help you in your daily practice, improve your efficiency, improve our client service offering, because nowadays everything is moving towards dashboard, towards data analytics. And unless we have data in a proper structured format, we would not be able to provide that quality service to our client that the client is expecting. Because the CFO or the tax head does not want to get into nitty-gritties and details. They just want to have an overview of the financial transactions that their company is doing. They want to have numbers, they want to have dashboards, they want to have pie charts, and they want to have proper controls. These are the pillars on which we are developing this application. I'm done with my presentation. I think we have more 5 minutes, and I'll be happy to take any questions if there are any from the crowd. Hello. Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Yeah. So are there any questions?
Yes, there is one question. What is the cost of these particular softwares or applications?
Okay. So the notice tracker application, we basically sell it for first 1 year cost is 12,500 for the first year, and then there is a annual license of 4,000 for each year.
Okay, all right.
Any-
Participants, any other questions? If yes, please type. Okay, I guess there are no questions around this session, so we can proceed with the final vote of thanks. I would extremely like to thank the committee for giving us the opportunity to participate in these sessions on things which are relevant to our day-to-day activities, targeting on transformation and automation using technology at the tip. Both the topics, Excel automation for CA firms and the tax technology transformation tools, have been quite insightful for myself as well as the other participants, I presume. Also, I would like to extend my appreciation to our speaker, CA Hardik Savla, for his insightful and informative presentation. Indeed, his experience and expertise has definitely enriched our understanding and how we can use these particular softwares for ease, and how to track how to use these particular softwares in more usable manner, which helps us save our time. Also, I would like to express my gratitude to all the participants who attended this session. Your active engagement and questions around have been quite useful and valuable for all of us. I do understand that in the second session, probably we have not got much of questions. So I think our speaker has done quite a good job. Also, thank you to the technical team for ensuring the smooth conduct of the program, and also the office of the committee. Once again, thank you to everyone for making this session a success. Hope to see you all in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.